Okay, so we're going to disconnect the negative battery terminal. No need to look for a hood latch inside the Jeep, of course. So you just pull this down, remove that. Now there isn't the little push handle like a lot of cars have. You just reach in and you move the piece over here. Just by hand. Okay, then the hood prop just comes down here and hooks into place. We're just going to remove this negative battery terminal. Okay, just put your 10mm socket right here. And we'll undo that and then slide it off the terminal post. And just make sure you set it aside where it's going to be safe. Okay, so we're going to remove the front bumper. First thing you want to do is find these two clips here. And if you look at them, they have a little place to put a screwdriver under the side right in that opening. So you just want to pry in there very gently, and then you're going to pop that up. So I have this one loose over here to show you. Once it's popped up, you just lift out. Okay, but it's very important to lift up that centerpiece first. So then that one will pop right out and we'll go do the same one over there. If only the centerpiece comes out, once it is out, you can just lift here on the side and pull the whole thing up. So now I'll just remove this piece. Next we're going to come in over here and disconnect the body harness. So it's this gray plug here. It's very simple. You just push down here, and as you're pushing down on that side, I've already broken it loose, but it'll slide right out. Next we're going to remove both of the skid plate bolts. They're 13mm. So there's one there, and then one right on the other side. Next we're going to remove the frame rail nuts, and there's two here. They're 18mm. And then there's two on the opposite side. And then the same thing over here on the driver's side of the car. So we'll remove all of those. Okay, so I'm just using an 18mm socket with a slight extension on it. And that's making it very useful to get in here and still clear the other stuff back in here. So just remove all 8 of these. Okay, now the bumper will just pull straight off. So you can grab onto these hooks if you want to. That's probably why they're there. Just kind of tilt it. Now this is an optional step, but they suggest that you can cut with a Sawzall right across here to remove this bottom lower piece that we no longer need. We're not going to do that, but if you decide to do that, then it's almost halfway up this hole, just a little higher. I'll show you the diagram that Addictive Desert Designs gives, but you just cut it right there all the way around and remove that lower piece on each side. Okay, so if you've ordered bumpers from Addictive Desert Designs before, you'll know that they basically set it down in there and spray foam all around it to keep it good for shipping, which is good, keeps everything from getting damaged. Just want to come in and get your parts and hardware out of here, and then just get the bumper out. So here's a tip: instead of trying to get the whole package out of the box, cut the plastic and lift the bumper out, and it'll come right out that way. Okay, so we have the bumper sitting on its face. Next we're going to install these U-nuts, as they're called. So you're going to come over and we're going to leave this one open, so it's just going to be these 3 here on each side. And so you're going to take it like this, and you're just going to slide it from the inside of the housing that way, and it'll lock into place when you do that. Okay, so then just repeat the process on this side, but once again, leave that one open. Okay, so next we have to drill out the frame rail holes right here, just the bottom outer ones. And so you're going to need a 1/2-inch drill bit, and it's really not that much bigger than what's already there. You can almost fit it in there. So it's not that much drilling. Make sure you wear your safety glasses. And so it's that bottom outer one. Okay, so that was this bottom outer one. And then on the driver's side, same thing, bottom outer. Okay, so that's done. Now, to prevent rust or anything like that, anytime you drill or cut into your frame and there's no more paint on there, you want to hit it with something like this. Some kind of anti-rust or black paint even would work, but you just want to make sure it's painted where we cut in there so that doesn't start to rust. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and install this winch. Okay, so we have our rope here. We have the hook end, and then we have the non-hook end. And this is our abrasion sleeve. So we're going to go ahead and just open it up and slide it on all the way up to the front. And it is a long rope, so just keep moving it all the way down. It may help like this to lay it out flat so it doesn't get tangled. Now before you lift the winch on, you want to put the bolts that come with it through the back side of the bumper so you have studs sticking out, and that way you're going to be able to put your fairlead on. That's going to help the rope not get cut, so you just want to make sure that that's set up. Okay, so we lifted the winch up onto the bumper. On this particular bumper, since it's so closed off in the front, it's better to install this first rather than put it on the Jeep later. And so now we're taking these 4 M10 1.5 by 35 hex flange 8.8 bolts and the lock washers. And so here's what we're doing. We're basically, you slide the lock washer into this hole and then you thread the bolt up into it. Okay, so for example, we're just going to slide the lock nut there, and then from the bottom, just start threading the bolt. Okay, so just threading the bolt now. We're going to do that on all 4 corners. So we'll do that front one, and then I already did that front one and this back one. Okay, so those are all in. So this is a 15 millimeter. I'm just going to go ahead and tighten all these down. Okay, so we already ran the abrasion sleeve over into the hook end. Now we're going to go ahead and put our cable through here. And then we're going to attach a wire, just a piece of wire that they give you for install like this. Put those wires together. And now we're going to feed it through this top part right here. Notice this is the bigger opening. Where it comes out is a smaller eyelet. So we're putting it through here until those wires come out. Okay, so once the loop is through here, you can remove the installation wire completely. Okay, so with the eyelet sticking out now from the bottom of the drum, we're going to stick our puck in here. And so you want it to fit in there just perfect, and then we're going to yank on the rope up here to draw it back up inside, and so you want it to go up in there nice and flush. Okay, so you want to make sure that your puck is lined up here and going right into that groove horizontally. We did rotate the drum a little bit just to get it lined up here, and so now we're just pulling on the bottom of the line, and as we're doing that, it's drawing it into the drum. You just gotta make sure you don't have any of the cable get wadded up where the puck's going in the front. So alright, so as you pull on it, it should suck it right in and that's what you want to see.
Now the instructions called to run the power and ground wire through the grill. However, on this new Jeep you can't do that because the grill's cut off. So I did come through here and I added the negative and the power to the battery, and there were spots where I just took the nuts off and re-added it that you can see there. So the black goes to the black and the positive to the positive.
Okay, so we're just lifting this bumper up into place, and we have this hardware here. It's going to be going through the front. Make sure it has that washer on there. And then around the back, that's going to go through that hole that we drilled out. Okay, so that bolt is there with its washer. The stud's coming back through into the bumper now. We're just going to install the hardware now with the washer and then the lock nut. Now we're going to take our 5/16 Allen, and that's going to go in the front here on this bottom outer bolt. And then on the back side we're using our 18mm socket. And we're going to tighten down that lock lock nut with the washer behind it. Okay, so as you start to tighten down that 18mm one, you can move on to the 15mm bolts as well that are just going in. They have the washer in front of them, and you're doing that on both sides. And so you don't want any of these completely tight until they're all threaded and you know that they're all going in, or it'll make it difficult to line up. So get them all started, then tighten them all down. Make sure you're obviously doing it on the other side here too. Okay, now tighten that 10mm bolt back onto the negative battery terminal. Make sure everything's connected there.